Loud and proud. Loud and proud, my friends. Big Sills, how you doing here on this Thursday? Absolutely. Crank it up, baby. Crank it up. Football season, week 16 starts right here. I mean, folks, without a doubt, make no mistake about it here, man. It's absolutely now starting to get into the position where you're now seeing the best 4 or 5 teams in each division and each conference starting to absolutely spread their wings right now and telling you which teams are the best teams in football right now. And you're seeing that with Eagles, Detroit, the Packers, and most likely Minnesota. By the way, we start the program off with bet sales, and we are powered by our great friends at BetUS. Do me a favor, my friends. Please hit that like button. You have absolutely been awesome. Super chats go to the top. Quite a football game this weekend. A very interesting football game, too, for the Eagles. That will be the Redskins versus the Eagles on Sunday. We're going to take a look at some of the comparisons. Where the advantages that I think that Washington might have over Philadelphia, there's no question about it. The best roster heading into that game on Sunday resides in Philadelphia. So, Big Sills, what up, my man? How you doing, my friend? Thank you very much. Member for 2 months. Shit, you've been a member since day one, my friends. Since day one, you have been. Look at James Jones coming in here, man. Sills, 21-17, Redskins. How you doing? There you go. All good. I like it. I like it. All right. By the way, I would like to tip this off with this. So I just took a look at the latest numbers for the Pro Bowl. And I was looking at all the Pro Bowl guys that are on the NFC side in the leading vote getters for the Pro Bowl. You know, media people, fans get a chance to vote for this as well. And I was just curious. So, by the way, Eagle fans, 52 days until you get to go to your Super Bowl. I hope you bought your ticket already. That'll be in New Orleans. Hit that like button. I mean, hey, I'm here for you. Okay? Okay? I'm here for you. All right? Here. So here is the quarterback that leads the charge. James Jones, are you in here? For the NFC, it is Jayden Daniels of the Washington Redskins. Right out of the top. And for the 9th time, tying Justin Herbert for the most awards of Rookie of the Week, 9. Daniels, on his birthday, covets that award, and he is now going to be your front runner to be the NFC starting quarterback in the Pro Bowl? In the Pro Bowl, wait a minute. A rookie is starting for the NFC in the Pro Bowl, and you've got Jalen Hurts? What happened? By the way, running back, Saquon Barkley. Congratulations to you. By the way, he's actually also the leading vote getter. Wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Howie Roseman's favorite NFL receiver. Number 1 at wide receiver. Tight end, George Kittle. Okay, I guess so. I think the guy in Detroit's probably a little better, but okay, that's all right. Tackle. What? It's not Lane or Mulata? It's Penei Sewell. What? I keep hearing Zander tell me the Eagles have the best the number 1 vote getter at guard is Kevin Zeiler, Detroit. Not another Lion in the O-line? No, it can't be. Wait, Center. Right, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. The Detroit Lions have 3 of the 5 starters in the O-line in the Pro Bowl on their roster. Interesting. Okay. That's what I'm saying too, Sills. I mean, Jayden Daniels over Jared Goff. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one. Now, let's take a look at the defensive side. Eagles have the number one defense in pro football, right? I think you do. Defensive end, Nick Bosa, San Francisco 49ers. Number two, interior defensive tackle, Vita Vea, Bucks. No Jalen Carter? What happened? Vita Vea is having a better season than Jalen Carter? Huh. Outside linebacker, Andrew Van Ginkel, Minnesota Vikings? What? By the way, I didn't vote for these guys. I mean, these are the leading vote getters at their respective positions for the Pro Bowl. Okay, I mean, I'm not, these aren't mine. This is not who I would select. Okay? Brian Murphy, cornerback. Wait a minute. This isn't a rookie guy, right, from Minnesota. That's a veteran guy, not Brian Murphy, the Texas D lineman that's up in, I think, Seattle. So Brian Murphy, Minnesota Vikings, cornerback. Okay? Brian Branch, just another Lion, safety. Kirby Joseph, the other safety? I thought the Eagles had the best secondary. I thought you told me the Eagles have the best secondary and the best O-line. The front runners for the Pro Bowl, but got both their safeties that are going to be starting in the Pro Bowl. Damn! What is going on here? Wait a minute. I didn't vote. Don't get mad at Big Sills over this. I'm talking about individual performances here. Okay? Nobody's debating your fucking team's good. Nobody's debating that. I'm talking about individual performances. And people, look, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit, the Lions have 6 starters in the Pro Bowl. You got 1, Barkley. Whoa! Unbelievable. How about them Lions? Holy cow. By the way, on the program today, Zander Krause will join us at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30. And we will have Giant legend Phil Simms on with us. WFAN's Phil Simms will be with us at 5:30. I'll ask him flat out of the gate. How are the Giants taking Saquon Barkley doing what he's doing right now with the Eagles? Pro Bowl's a joke. All pros a real award. And the Pro Bowl also has player incentives, Nick, just in case you didn't know. If you make the Pro Bowl, you make a ton of money in player incentive, okay? So it may not seem shit to you, but it means everything to the players, too. If you're named to the Pro Bowl, you get a $400,000 bonus in most cases. So it does matter to people. People are so stupid with that. Well, the all-pro team. Now, dude, well, you're not going to be – if you can't put guys on the NFC Pro Bowl, you ain't putting guys on the all-pro team. If that was the best Jalen has on Sunday, he's not that good of a quarterback. He was 22nd in the league in passing yards on Sunday. Dude, don't get me going, 304. What? I mean, wait, so the safety position, individual achievements. And by the way, you guys want to talk about a 10-game win streak? Detroit right now has home field advantage. You don't. Okay. You want to talk about records? Detroit right now is the number 1 seed. So you can talk to shit all you want about your 10-game win streak, and it hasn't been enough to take out Detroit yet. You've won 10 ball games in a row. You're 12-2, and you're still not good enough to have home field yet. A lot of footballs will be played, no doubt. Minnesota and Detroit have to play each other at the final game of the year, no doubt. But all that winning has not resulted. You still could be sitting in a two-hole. Okay? That is pretty interesting there, man. Oh, I forgot to say it. There's two players. Zach Bond is on that list. My bad. Zach Bond is inside linebacker. Okay? He is on that list. So you got two guys on the Pro Bowl. Zach Bond and Saquon Barkley. Okay? So I want to make it fair here. I forgot about that. I apologize. I'm on Aaron Rodgers' side against Ryan Clark. Fuck Ryan Clark. He's just picking a guy and going after a guy who's had a bad year, and he's 42 years old. Who cares? Ryan Clark. Dude, honestly, Aaron Rodgers is low-hanging fruit. Dude, he's past his day. You're going to go at it's like fucking taking shots at LeBron now. Why would you take shots at a guy who's got a legendary career? So you're going to take shots at Aaron Rodgers now. You notice I don't even really bring him up. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. I mean, go move on. Move on to another guy here. Aaron Rodgers, the only reason he's doing that is because it's a New York market and he wants to get Jet fans all pissed off and he wants to be on the side of the wokesters. That's all it is. Ryan Clark. Who the fuck is that? Big deal. Going after Aaron Rodgers, who is not relevant this year, and the Jets aren't. Hey, congratulations to you, son. Hope it works out for you. Way to go. I talk about Jalen Hurts, who's got a 12-2 football team and has a 10-game win streak and has had one great game this year. That's my conversation. Or talking about Lamar and Josh Allen having to win a Super Bowl. That's relevant. Aaron Rodgers is not relevant. It's low-hanging fruit. What's the point? What's the end game? You banging on Rodgers? Okay. Hey, Ryan Clark, the only way you'll get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame is buying a ticket. So fuck it. So what? He's an idiot, man. And I don't even really like bringing him up because this content is awful. I mean, ESPN content is awful outside of Pat McAfee and Game Day. The rest of that shit, no wonder they've lost 22 million viewers. We're gaining viewers. They're losing viewers. Incredible. He was 22nd in air yards, I mistyped it. 304. I know, get this. Everyone in Philadelphia said that he had a spectacular game. You know why? That's a normal game to Allen. I mean, look at this. Hey, 304, just so you know. Here's another one for you, okay? The worst year that Patrick Mahomes is having right now passing the ball, he's 13-1. His worst year is still better than everybody in the league. That shows you his greatness. What it do, chat? I love this guy, man. He won himself a jersey. Absolutely, man. Hey, yes, sir, baby. Yeah. Hey, you've won 10 ball games. Now, look, I'll be fair to you. I will be fair to you. I think you're in the best position. Okay? I think you're in the best position to win home field. I do think that. Hit that like button, guys. I appreciate it. I do. I think you're in the best position. I think this Sunday is your true last test. Okay? You got the better roster. And I've already buried the lead. I'll tell you right now, I'm not picking against the Eagles against Washington. As good as I think that they picked it back up and started playing a little bit, I'm not picking against them. The defense is playing too good a football. Now, Hurts can walk backwards because Hurts has been one of the things that's not been consistent this year. The rest of it, the run game has been consistent. Watch. Here's facts. Run game's been consistent. The defense has been consistent. The offensive line has been consistent. Hurts is the only one. And I know everybody says, well, they kept him in a garage for 15 weeks, paying them $50 million along with the other $50 million receivers. And they brought it out when they needed it. I'm sure Jeffrey Lurie and the owner and the ownership group and everybody in the front office, that's exactly what you do when you pay people. You put them away. You don't really use them. You don't really need them. And you bring them out when you need them. That's fucking asinine. You pay players and great players because they perform every Sunday for you. You don't bring them out when you need them. This isn't a 1963 split window coupe Corvette that you just bring out when you need. It's the stupidest talk you can possibly bring. Great players play great every week, not when they need them. Just bring out Patrick Mahomes when he really needs to be brought out. That's so fucking dumb. You can't have a dumber take. Well, they could have did this all. That's not true. That's not true. It's the worst take on the planet. There's a reason you pay those guys that money. Okay? There's a reason. Not to bring them out when you need it. Hey, special occasion, my Rolex. That's not fucking how that works. Man, you can't be dumber. All right. We're going to head into a topic here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Get this. Once again, like I told you, the lowest paid guy in the offensive huddle has been the star of your team. What do you make of that? The lowest paid guy has been the MVP of your team this year. Between your skill, maybe even your O-line. Mulata makes 25. Lane makes 28. Hurts makes 50. Landon just got a $20 million deal. The tight end makes 50. Wide receiver makes 35. And the other guy makes 25. Lowest paid guy as a skilled player has been the best player in your huddle. Okay? The best player in the huddle has been the cheapest guy in the huddle. And by the way, kudos to Howie on this. Got to give it to him. He improved your offense with a free agent. He made your team better with a free agent, not the players you had in the room. Why do we keep using air yards to define a quarterback's performance? Goff had how many yards and lost? God, let's just use bad metrics to push the goalpost. I'll tell you one more time, Christopher, it's not pushing the fucking goalpost, you dummy. NFL players are paid not on wins. They are paid on production. Last year, you weren't paid, if you're A.J. Brown, on wins. You were paid because you had 1,500 yards. That's why you were paid. Trevor Lawrence was paid $55 million, not because of wins, but because of numbers. Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, they're not paid on wins. Nobody in the NFL is paid on wins. You're paid on production. Because everyone knows every year is a different metric. Not every player has the riches that Jalen has. That's not a rip on Jalen. There's no other quarterback in pro football that has the riches. And again, it's not a rip. It's a fact. Jalen's path to the Super Bowl will have to go through Brian Flores, Todd Bowles. Not looking good for him. I wouldn't say that. Trevor Lawrence sucks. That's not the fucking point, whether he sucks or not. That's not the point. I didn't say Trevor Lawrence was great. That should tell you even more to your answer. You're not paid on wins. You're not paid on Super Bowl wins. You're paid because you put your team in a position year to year because you can carry your football team. Okay? Let me ask you something here. Just, now that you said this, let me ask you this. And again, I know this is about 3 years from now. Would you make Jalen Hurts the highest paid quarterback in the NFL today? Would you? By the way, Christopher, I appreciate this. Thank you so much. His stats are god-awful. You're speaking out of hind end. Really, his stats are awful. He got $55 million. How am I speaking out of my ass? He got $55 fucking million. How am I speaking out of my ass? Name me one quarterback, except maybe your guy, that was paid on wins. Because it ain't numbers. Would you give Jalen Hurts more than Dak Prescott and pay him $65 million if his contract was up at the end of the year? How many people would pay Jalen Hurts $65 million? Would you pay him $65 million? Jalen Hurts. And again, this is a hypothetical. Would you pay him $65 million? Would you make him the highest paid quarterback based on what you've seen over the last 3 years? If he wins, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if right now you would pay him $65 million. I wouldn't either. I mean, I would not. Okay? Let me ask you this. If Patrick Mahomes' contract was up, would you pay him $65 million? Josh Allen? I would. Sills is not speaking out of his ass. The quarterback market is overinflated, but it totally is. That's a great take, Harv. Absolutely. Cash is rolling in because of streaming. Cash is rolling in because of gambling. Absolutely. I get it. Get to Lombardi, and I'd give Jalen a blank check. I get your argument, but quarterbacks are going to make this money. Trevor Lawrence has had some passing seasons, but his best. I'm not debating that with you, Christopher. Christopher, I'm not debating. I wouldn't pay him that money. I would not pay him that money. I would not have given Trevor Lawrence $55 million when I know this. Hey, you guys want to hear? Who said that because of the marketplace? There you go, Harv. You want to hear something absolutely insane? How about this one, Zander? This goes to Zander's SEC. Are you ready? Every single starting quarterback in the Southeastern Conference makes more money than Brock Purdy. Here, listen to me again. Every starting quarterback makes more money annually than Brock Purdy. The money is going to continue to go up in the NFL. Okay? You got a quarterback, that guy Diego, whatever his name is, at Vanderbilt, he makes more than Brock Purdy. Shit, if I'm a college kid today, why the fuck would I leave when I know I'm not going to have a chance to play in the National Football League and make that money or be a first rounder? I'm staying at Vanderbilt. The money in the NFL, are you overpaying? Absolutely. Dude, if Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy don't show you don't have to spend that money unless you have a generational player, I don't know what else will. Look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield makes $35 million a year, and in the last 2 years, he's completely been anything, and he's beaten your boy Hurts. He's outplayed Jalen 5 times. By 5 times, he's outplayed him. And he makes $35 million. He's on his 3rd team or 4th team, whatever it is. If those guys don't show you that the quarterback market is oversaturated with money and expectations, nothing else will. Nothing else will. There needs to be a rebalancing in this pay structure. You know what? No, because the NFL Players Association would not allow that. Would not. Every single starting quarterback in the Southeastern Conference makes more money than the defending NFC champion starting quarterback, Brock Purdy. All right. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Give me a total where we are right now. We're almost at the first 30, and I appreciate you guys coming aboard. Don't forget Phil Simms at 5:30, Jason Cole at 4:30. Zander will come aboard with us at 3:30. Hit that like button. All supers go to the top. I appreciate it. Senor says that Brock Purdy needs a new agent. No. Brock Purdy was the last player taken in the draft. That's the money you get when you're at the last player paid. And there's requirements and restrictions on what you can pay players. This coming offseason was going to be the first time that San Francisco will address Brock Purdy to some extent on raising his pay. Other than that, it's what you are when you're drafted. Brock Purdy was not only a 7th rounder, he was the last player drafted. He would have had a better opportunity if he had signed as a free agent to make more money. Do you know that? Do you realize that? All right. Let's do something here. Nick Sirianni. At the end of the 2025 season, end of next year, Nick Sirianni's contract will be up. Which would mean this. If you restructure and give him a contract extension this offseason, you will not make him a lame duck coach heading into 2025. He'd be in the same position, theoretically, as Mike McCarthy. I mean, Hurts is 45-19 as a starter. I've watched way worse production quarterbacks get paid stupid money, and the franchise just can't win. It's because they don't have a good team around them, Christopher. Thank you for the super chat. If the Vikings play Philly, Jefferson needs to be in the slot all game and make Dijon deal with him all game. It's a good thought process. I like it. Unless you're Josh Allen-like player, I wouldn't pay more than $40 a year for these guys, Cesar. Agreed. But it's the market and the salary is going up. Look, I don't want to sound like, oh, man, get off my lawn shit. But, I mean, that and is going to only continue to go up. And so is the wide receiver money. All right. So let me ask you this about Sirianni. Do you feel comfortable now? You know, listen to Zander, John, WIP. They're not in the minority. It's now becoming the majority. 97.5. The Inquirer. Philadelphia sports fans. You give Nick Sirianni a contract extension this offseason so you don't make him a lame duck coach heading into 2025. Oh, man, Slay shut down Jefferson. That was 2 years ago. He's not the same player. Q may actually struggle with him. We'll see, especially in that zone. Do you give Nick Sirianni a contract extension? I want to show you something, too. Sirianni right now makes between $7 and $8 million a year. And here, Kirby Smart at Georgia makes $14.2. Dabo Swinney makes $12.3. Steve Sarkisian makes $11 million. Lincoln Riley makes $11 million. Ryan Day makes $11 million. Even the guy Kirk Ferentz, who's in the top 25, makes $9 million a year. This guy makes as much or it's sometimes less than college coaches. He's not one of the higher paid guys. That's not a lucrative job, is what I'm telling you, being the Eagle head coach. You know why? Because they don't look at it. For a guy who has won 3 years in a row and put a team in the Super Bowl and put a team in the playoffs every year and heading that way again, for the Eagles not to address his contract tells you all you need to know on how they look at the head coaching position. It's not a reflection of Nick. It's the reflection of the position of head coach at Philly. They don't covet it as an important asset. They don't have a problem extending 2 years out A.J. Brown. Okay? They have no problem doing that. Or restructuring contracts to help the players. But you're not going to give Nick Sirianni an address it? Or even have a hint of it? Of giving him a contract extension? I thought he's doing great. I thought he was doing great. Why in the world would the Eagles give him a contract extension of significance when it comes to money, when they don't really value that position and they'll change it out in a minute? Doug Peterson, Andy Reid, no matter who it is. How do you think they look at that? And him financially. You would think a guy that is 12-2 on his way to 15-2. Do you understand something here? My problem right now is that if you guys are so high on Nick, is the organization high on him? So in the 4 years, he's going to have 2 14-plus win teams? And you don't address that? Really? What would the Jets pay him? What do you think the Jets would pay a guy who's won 14 games, 2 of the last 3 years? I see them paying Sirianni regardless this offseason. Eagle Brass loves to. You can tell they run the show. The way Sirianni keeps the team winning, he deserves it, unless something crazy happens. Whoa. What do you mean unless something crazy happens? Shit, if you listen to John McMullen, whether or not they win the Super Bowl or not, it's going to be a great year for them. Whoa, don't go there. John's a beat writer. I've heard him say that numerous times. To some people in Philly, especially people that cover it, winning the Super Bowl is not the ultimate coveted that when it comes to whether or not they had a good year or not. That's not the metric. And I wonder if that's the metric for the Eagles. Would you pay him $20 million? Hey, somebody do me a favor in here. Flexen or somebody. Guys, hey, Bob, tell me this right now. I think the highest paid coach in the NFL right now is either Andy Reid or Sean Payton at $20 million. Now that Belichick is out of the building. I think Shanahan's up there too at $16 million. What's Shanahan done that Nick hasn't done? Do me a favor. Somebody tell me how much Kyle Shanahan's done. Or Kyle Shanahan. Now, Kyle Shanahan's gone to 2 Super Bowls. Okay, so I got to be a little fair there. Sean McVay. Okay. Bill was the highest paid. He made 22, I believe. Okay. Would you here? Let's do this. Would you extend him in the offseason and pay him? Kyle makes $23 million. Would you make him one of the highest paid head coaches in the NFL? Yes or no? Better yet, not you. Do you think the Eagles, let's do this. Do you think the Eagles will make him one of the highest paid head coaches in the league? Right now, he's one of the lowest paid. For a guy that's been to 3 playoffs, a Super Bowl, he's 44-19. What's the hang-up? Has Philadelphia, hey, help me out here. Has Philadelphia ever paid the head coach top dollar? Have they ever paid top dollar? Got to remember something. If Howie and the owner pay him more, that means they're giving Nick more credit for the record than them. Remember, you got an ego front office. What I'm doing right here is showing you how much they think of him. I mean, right? Howie Roseman looks at that team that he built. That's his ball team. Shit, Nick says at every press conference. Okay? I personally, for me, they'll probably up his pay, and they'll probably wait until after the Super Bowl to see what happens and after the playoffs. Because if they give him a contract and he shits the bed, how about this? Let's do this. I gave you all the positives. 4 years in a row, 44-19. What if he gets bounced in the opening round, or gets bounced in the divisional round, or gets bounced in the NFC title game, or loses another Super Bowl? Pick one. I don't care. Do you think they'll extend him and make him one of the highest paid head coaches? Dude, look how that thing has worked out for Mike McCarthy this year, being a lame duck coach. Have you ever seen a lame duck coach where you didn't address that guy's contract heading into a final year? Have you ever seen that work out well? I have never. I have never seen that work out well. So I ask you this question because has he won his position back with you as a fan base? And do you think he's built that equity up because, wait a minute here, he's 12-2. And like Zander says, they've won 10 in a row. Big Sills, how we doing today? We're doing fabulous, man. Okay? I see some of you don't want to address this. Okay? I said the good stuff. Now let's do the bad. If he gets bounced and they don't win a Super Bowl, are you making him one of the highest paid coaches in the league? 4 years in a row. A 15-win team. A 14-win team 2 years ago. An NFC championship. Most likely will have around a 500 record in the postseason as a coach. Are you extending him and making him one of the highest paid coaches? If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, get his ass out of here? Huh. I was just checking to see what you thought of your guy still. I was just checking. Because if you listen to some people, Nick's doing a great job again. I'll put your money where your mouth is. Are you going to pay him? Are you going to extend him? You're surely not going to make him a lame duck coach. How about this? Would you fire him heading into a lame duck year? Would you fire him? It's not a theory, dude. His contract is up at the end of 25. That's not once again, the difference, Philly, between a fucking theory or not. And I'm asking a question. His contract is up, you asshole, at the end of 25. Most organizations address it the year prior in the offseason, and they either extend you or they get rid of you. That's not a theory. That's fact. It's not a theory. That's not a theory. I'm Reyes. Be realistic. Tell me what you'll do. Holy shit. I have not given you, I'm asking the question. I gave you the good. Hey, if this guy's 44-19, are you win it all or kick rocks? Whoa. So this guy's coaching for his job, in your opinion. So far, Nick deserves one. Okay, here's a decent one here. But any negative from here on out, depending how bad, is Laurie quick to scapegoat whoever he wants? I say pay. Okay. This is all I'm at. That's right. It's a valid question. Why can't we fucking address it? Your head coach is going into the offseason in the final year of his contract. 99.9% of NFL teams address coaches' contracts in a final year. That is not that's reality, guy. It's not reality. It's not reality what you're saying. It's not. Do they extend him? Yes or no? It's not fucking sky is falling. What sky is falling? He's 44-19 with a 10-game win streak, and he's 12-2. What fucking sky is falling? So just say it, Philly. You want to extend him and give him a 3-year contract and pay him the highest. Answer the fucking question. Don't tell me sky is falling. I haven't even given you an opinion. This is stupid people right here that can't fucking listen. They can't listen. Jesus criminy, it's a fucking question that they're going to have to address this offseason. Oh, by the way, how about this? How many people think they have to address this offseason? Is it some flexing? Is this a mandatory address for Howie and Jeffrey Lurie this offseason? What's it do with Nick heading into his final year? Yes or no? Would you let a fucking player go into their final year like A.J. Brown without addressing? Howie would never do that. They gave A.J. a 2-year contract extension with 2 years remaining. Howie also waiting to pay to not distract from getting the Super Bowl. He clearly doesn't want to pay anyone yet. It's like a reward for his players. So you're telling me, Jason, it's wait and see. All I'm trying to get to is how you would handle this. Okay? Get this. Why wouldn't they extend him, though? Okay. Why wouldn't they? Who will get this more proven? Hey, dude, I believe they think they can hire anybody they want and they could get the same job out of the team that Nick does. They've proven that. Since Jeffrey Lurie, Philly, has owned the team, he's never had a coach with a losing record. Do you know that? Since 2000, they've never had a coach with a losing record that he's hired. Okay? I would extend him at a small raise and overpay the coordinators. So wait a minute. You're going to address the coordinators and you're going to pay Vic and give them a pay raise. And you're going to give a guy who's 44-19 as of right now a small pay raise. So you obviously don't think the head coaching position in Philadelphia is a top-notch job. How in the world don't you make him the highest paid coach in the NFL with a record like that? If Jalen Hurts is getting rewarded, like you guys tell me, for 44-19 getting $50 million, why wouldn't a coach be making $20 million? Why? Aren't the coach and the player, Jalen Hurts, aren't they intertwined with one another or no? You know, sometimes when I talk about Kellen Moore and the record, Kellen sucks when the team doesn't look good. But when the team wins, Kellen's irrelevant. I mean, no, they do not. No. Seals, if you look at Dan Campbell with the Lions and how they benefit from being an aggressive team because having an aggressive coach, does the Eagles do the same thing with Sirianni? I think the Philadelphia Eagles are pretty aggressive. Okay, I do. Okay? Guys, it's a legitimate question that will have to be addressed. Let me ask you this. You think Nick Sirianni has deserved to be the highest paid coach in the NFL now? Let me see something here. Let's read this. Let's read this together here. Let's take a look at Nick Sirianni here. Okay? By the way, please hit the like button, guys. Here's Nick Sirianni. Maxwell Coach of the Year in 22. I voted for him. He's 46-19 in the regular season. He's 2-3 in the postseason with a total of 48-22. This guy's got a 708 win percentage. I think John Madden's in the sevens. There's very few coaches that are in the sevens. Okay? You just gave the quarterback $50 million 2 years ago. Doesn't the head coach deserve to be the highest paid coach in pro football? Yes or no? And by the way, that's your opinion. Do the Eagles feel that way, that he should be the highest paid coach? Do you think Jeffrey Lurie looks at Nick Sirianni and says, that guy should be the highest paid coach in pro football? Do you think that? I don't. I do not. I don't. Not in the offseason when you had to ask whether or not he should come back or not after the disaster. At the beginning of the year, when they were 2-2, they were calling for his head. Now he's 12-2. Things are better. 10-game win streak. Hey, by the way, I get it. It's the beast of the NFL. One day you're a GOAT. The next day you're a hero. I get it. There's no in the middle here. I totally get it. So I'm going to revamp that question and ask you this. Don't think what you would do. Tell me what you think the ownership of the Eagles will do. Will they make him the highest paid coach in pro football? I mean, Jesus Christ, he's 46-19 in the regular season. I mean, 4 years in a row now in the playoffs. He's going to win his second division title in 4 years. He's won an NFC championship. What more could he do? Win the Super Bowl, of course. But let's be completely positive about Nick Sirianni. Okay, Always Sunny. Let's put a Birds 365 spin on this. Let's say they win the Super Bowl. 2 NFC titles. A Super Bowl win. Let's see. He'd be 5-3 in the postseason. He would be 47-19 in 4 years. You make him the highest. You think the Eagles would make him the highest paid coach in pro football? They made Sean McVay. They made Andy Reid. Hey, I don't give up. And I shit on you. Because hey, get this. Somebody tell Philly 4x4 that this may be the number one priority heading into the offseason, more so than Zach Bond and Mekhi Becton and their contracts on what to do with Nick, whether or not you let him go into the final year of his contract, into 25 without a contract. Would you tell them that? That this will probably be the number one priority over any player. Right? Yes, they will pay Nick as an above average coach to make it look good, but we know it's all about the assistants and play calling coaches. I agree with you, Jay. Are coaches' salaries different from the cap? Yeah, that don't affect the cap. I think the cap right now is 255, and I think it's projected at 75 for next year. So it traditionally goes up about 18%, the salary cap. 18. Last year they had a really big jump. And again, the streaming money, I'm not sure how that's going to impact. We'll know in March. In what, by the way, I posted my really cool, I got my NFL, I had to update my NFL bio. And I love the fact that the NFL Players Association, guy like me, is a member for life. So I get all the intel on agents, money, salary cap, collective bargaining conversations that are going on. I posted my card on my X account at Dan Sileo Show. I'm a lifetime member of the NFL Players Association. So it's pretty cool. Get all kinds of great benefits. A lot of medical stuff too, so it's cool. Here's Bob. Says Nick should not be the highest paid if and only if Nick wins the Super Bowl, he gets the average of the top 5 head coaches. Super Bowl loss or NFC championship loss, average of top 8. If we don't make it to the NFC championship, he's a lame duck. Wow. With the collapse of last year, with the first round exit, he has to check both boxes. The first box looked check box. NFC chip determines pay. Okay. Imagine getting 18% raise every year. Holy crap. No shit. Zander, did I miss a super? I want to make sure we get them all. I may have missed one, and if I did, I apologize. All supers go to the top. Guys, give me a total here. We're coming up to the top of the hour. With the collapse last year and with the first round exit, he has to check both boxes. The first box looked check. Second box, NFC chip determines the pay. Okay. All right. It was a question. Because I'm curious in how you look at it. One, if you think he deserves it. 2, how do you think the organization? You know what? I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop asking you if you think he deserves it. Do you think the organization thinks he deserves a contract extension? Do you think he deserves from the organization to be made the highest paid coach? If Nick's got the best record in football and he wins the Super Bowl, how do you not pay him number one? Either that, you don't really value the head coaching position or what he's done. That takes away from Howie, too. Right? And if he doesn't win it all, do you make him a top 5 paid coach? Dude, if you listen to WIP right now, Sirianni's won the hearts of the Eagle fans back. I think that's fleeting. Dude, love is fleeting. Okay? Fear is a mainstay. That's why nobody loved Bill. Nobody loved Bill Belichick. They feared him. Because no player was safe. Richard Seymour, Randy Moss, Tom Brady. Jimmy Garoppolo, nobody was safe. Not in his eyes. It was about the roster. That's why he won 7 Super Bowls. 6, excuse me. Or he has 8. You ever notice the greatest coaches in the history of the league are feared, not loved? Lombardi, Calais, Shula, Noel, Terry Bradshaw hated Chuck Noll. Won 4 Super Bowls with him. Love your coach. You play for your coach. Nick doesn't do shit. He's just along for the ride. Oh, that's how many people. Do you think that's how the Eagle organization sees that? So wait, who would give Nick the benefit if he ran Barkley like Kellen did and saved the season with the defense? You? Shit, you go over to you walk down the streets of Philly, Nick. Listen to our network. Nick's doing a great job. I'm not saying he's not. 10, what is it? 10 in a row, and he's 12-2. Hey, he asked the question, do you want him to be the highest paid coach? We're going to move on here. Do you want him to be the highest paid coach in pro football at the end of the season, whether you win a Super Bowl or not? 15-2? Like John McMullen says, it's a great season regardless if they win a Super Bowl or not. I happen to disagree with that. I think it's a colossal disappointment. I saw somebody say something about Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy completely underachieved as a head coach. And coaches said that on this program. We underachieved. We should have won more. Those are Coach Dungy's words. I'm just echoing them. How do you get the hearts of the fans again when you never had it? Reminds me of lame dudes trying to get a woman to love them. It's pathetic. That's why Nick's press conferences are pathetic. He over-explains shit because he's trying to convince you to like him. He does the stupidest shit on the planet, and he does the most asinine thing that any coach can do. He's trying to make you like him. That's why he gives you these word salad answers. You know what a great coach and a great leader does? They don't tell you shit. It's my way or the highway. It's not Howie's way. It's my way. You can't say that in Philly because it's not his way. And that's the difference between Mike Tomlin getting in a guy like Marquise Pouncey's face going, this is bigger than you, dude. This is bigger than you. Look at me. You ain't saying that. No, I'm not saying he's not fiery. I like that shit on the sideline with Jalen Carter. I did. I think he had every right to go over there. I told Clint that himself. I did. I said, hey, man, those are his players, not just yours. And he knows it. He goes, yeah, we had a talk. It's all good. That's just competitive juices, man. Okay? That's competitive juices. Sills, to answer your question, the boardroom believes everyone is interchangeable. Everyone is a plug and play. They might look for their next young head coach that keeps Howie as the focus. That's right. That's why when people start quoting Nick Sirianni's record, it's irrelevant. Or when the Eagles and Bob Lang put on their Twitter page those new Rock Me moments, they're irrelevant. The focus is on Howie Roseman. Do I think they make him the highest paid coach personally? No. Do I think they make him top 5? No. Personally, I don't really think the Eagle head coaching job is a high-paying gig. You can make more at Iowa. You could make more money being the head football coach of Texas A&M than you can in Philly. It's true. Shit, the guy at LSU makes more money. He got a $100 million contract. You know that? Brian Kelly got a $100 million contract with like a $65 million buyout. Where would you rather coach? Philadelphia Eagles or the LSU Tigers? Right, Zander? I'm coaching LSU. My money's guaranteed. I got $100 million waiting for me. But wait a minute. That's not just an Eagle thing. But unfortunately, your job is just as important as the Jet job. You're no different than the Jets as a head coach in pay and how they think of you. There's not a chance in hell they'll make him a top 5 coach in salary. They don't look at that like that. You'd rather coach in Philly and make $7 million and Brian Kelly makes 11 and he has $100 million headed his way. What a dick. How stupid are you? Your Philly job is not a better paying job or a better job than the LSU Tigers. A&M, Florida, Alabama. The guy at Alabama makes more. And he's guaranteed more. You can have the greatest record in pro football over the last 4 years and still be paid less than the head coach at South Carolina. $44-16. Okay? Let's move on to this. By the way, little insight for you. I have been told that the Philadelphia Eagles would have strong consideration on adding Calais Campbell if the Dolphins this weekend lose. Drew Rosenhaus has started conversations with Chris Greer on being released from his contract. Would you have any issues with Calais Campbell taking some type of role that BG had and paying the minimum salary for Calais Campbell? Again, it's a role player. It's not a starter. It's a role player. And he, if released, not a starter, not expensive, Calais would like to go out with a chip. Okay? And know this, Glenn Hurt and him are very close. They're very close. Just so you know, too, we're talking about a man who is the Walter Payton Man of the Year as well. We're talking about a guy who's still somewhat productive. This is a depth. Not taking reps from Nolan, none of that. But it's a help piece. I would have no problem with it. I think he could bring experience. Can you imagine also he would help in the reps for Josh Sweat? Okay? Like I said, I'm not talking about 50 plays, none of that. And Vic Fangio loves him. Would you sign him? Hasn't happened yet. Okay? We're talking to Drew Rosenhaus. The Eagles are one of the destinations that they would like to land on. Kansas City's one of them too. Kansas City has great interest. And I'll tell you, Chris Spielman called me and asked me to What do you make of that? And I told him, I said, I think if you're talking about a depth piece, you can't go wrong with Campbell. Okay? You can't. Again, this is not about taking somebody's, he doesn't have that in him. But I'll tell you what, he can give you 15 plays, 20 plays a game, and they would be productive. And he's a born leader, and I think he's a great player. And he's a Hall of Famer. Okay? And he would cost you nothing. Don't be shocked if it comes down between Detroit, Minnesota, and also the Eagles. So, remember I said it, December 19th, that Calais Campbell, who do the Dolphins play this weekend? Who do they play? Is it Buffalo? It's San Francisco. They play the 49ers. They may lose that, but it's at home. I don't know. His name, Drew wants to put him on a contender. They're trying to get out of Miami right now. Now, would he clear waivers? Probably, because no one's going to sign him to the contract. I don't know what Miami signed him to. I'd have to ask Joe Rosenhaus that. Me and Drew have a really weird relationship. Now, Vic and Howie, by the way, it's been recommended already to the Eagles. Okay? Seals, would you compare Nick to John Harbaugh? No, because John picks his own coaching staff. No, I compare John Harbaugh to Tomlin. Okay? I mean, Harbaugh picked his entire coaching staff and has say in personnel with Eric DeCosta. I know that through Ozzie. Ozzie didn't pick the players without the head coach's knowledge. Okay? You know, the only player, I'll take that back, Bob, the only player that really Ozzie had to fight for was Lamar Jackson. Okay? I don't really think John wanted him. That's what I'm hearing. Again, it's not a strong take, but there weren't a lot of people that wanted him at 32. You know, that was the last nugget. Ozzie Newsome left. You know, Steve Biscotti and all them guys was Lamar Jackson. Shit, there were general managers that wanted him to play wide receiver in the NFL. He has a $1.2 million contract. He's not clearing waivers. Shit, I wish that number was higher. You could be right. The Lions will pick that up because of the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. They would pick that up in a second. And now hey, Top, this past draft, did the Lions pick in front of, because it goes like this. Here's the waiver wire. And I'll show you how the waiver wire works here. 2024 NFL draft. It's not by current standings. It's by the NFL draft. So it would go down to this. This would be the contending teams, because he would play in Philly. He wants an opportunity at playing. So with the Bears, why would the Bears sign him? The Commanders would sign him. They got the second pick in the draft. The Commanders would sign him. Arizona might sign him. Go back to Arizona. The Chargers might sign him. The Falcons could sign him. Minnesota could clearly sign him. The Rams, you're right, 1.2. The Eagles at 22. And Detroit's at 24. At least the Bucks could sign him. Stay in Florida. Yeah, 1.2 million. I don't know if he clears waivers. That's nothing. This 1.2, he makes less than Zach Bond. He's an edge piece. Now, you got to remember something, though. The one thing, Top, that I would say to that would be this. A lot of teams are stretched to the limit right now with their salary cap, and most teams are over. You don't have to adjust that until May 8th of next year, or March, I think it is, where you have to adjust that and get down underneath the cap what the projections are going to be. Okay? So, I mean, there's a lot of teams. Now, Howie's got the money, but he would have to clear waivers. That'd be a nice piece, man, for depth. Boy, you get this. Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Jalen. I mean, you got bodies now. You got production bodies. I would get feedback from players. If positive, I would extend. I don't give a shit what the players think. I don't want my players determining my head coach. That's not what I'm doing if I'm the owner. I don't give a fuck what my players think. If I'm the head guy in charge and I own a team, I'm doing what's best for my organization, not what's best for the players. How many times do you think an owner of a business comes down and asks the employees, who do you think I should hire to be your boss? This isn't kindergarten here. Okay? Ask the players. How many places you ever worked where your owner comes down and goes, hey, guys, what do you think we should hire? What kind of leadership is that? The guy belongs in a rowboat, not on a ship leading men on a shore at Normandy. The guy belongs in a rowboat. Doing that. Don't ever let players run your team. You let players run your Sundays, not your team. Just to put out there that Campbell, hey, Seals, completely off subject, but do you think Belichick can transition to college with no issues? Because you know the tempo increases drastically. The tempo in the NFL, what Nick is going to be shocked about is game pace and game tempo. Game tempo in the NFL. Let me tell you guys, from high school to college, the game tempo, it's significant. College football is more of a power game. You can be the strongest guy and the fastest guy, and you can get away with it. When you get to the NFL, everybody's the strongest guy and the fastest guy. Then it comes down to technique. These guys have been doing some of this shit. You know what makes the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line so great? They've been doing it for such a long period of time. They're exceptionally skilled. They're gargantuan in size. They're so gifted. And can you imagine playing against people that have been doing that for 20 years of their life, from little football until the time they got to the NFL? And these guys have been doing this shit for 20 years. And you get into the game, the speed of the game is lightning. It's not about power. It is, but it's about technique, angles. The NFL is a game of angles. It's not a game of power. You don't do a lot of things add up. It's a game of angles. These guys are unbelievable at it. Okay? The speed is insanity. Dude, I swear to God, you put your head down, you look up, 5 plays have gone by. Bang, bang, bang. You know that up-tempo the Eagles ran against the Steelers? You watch it on football and you watch it on TV, and get this, you watch it on TV and thought it was fast. Try being out there. It's even faster. The game tempo is unreal. That's why the great coaches practice game tempo. Everything's done with a pace. Running to your water and drills. Running to drills. Every drill, game tempo. The teams that practice game tempo in practice, I can always tell that's a great team. I watched that Mike McCoy Chargers team. I went to a practice once. I couldn't believe everybody was lollygagging to a drill. And I'm like, these guys aren't going to know game tempo. They'll start slow. Sure enough, they always started slow. Okay? I mean, you can always tell teams to start slow. They don't practice game tempo. You don't want to know why the Eagles look a little sluggish sometimes? And I know, look, they got great starts and wins. That's because they're so gifted in their roster. But you know why things don't look they look a little choppy? They don't really practice. And like Vic says, those controlled scrimmages aren't real football. That's not real football. The Eagles don't play real football till week 1. I mean, like when they end the season, they won't play real football till week 1 next September. Controlled scrimmages and all that other shit. It's good. It's a metric, but that's not real football. Okay? So, again, right? All right. I want to do something here. I'm going to do this. Hey, guys, give me a like total where we are right now in the likes. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I'm going to take that Sirianni topic off the table here. Zander's going to join us at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30. Phil Simms will join us at 5:30 from WFAN, former CBS, NFL on CBS host for all those years. Super Bowl MVP will join us. That will be at 5:30. I'm not talking about team here. What I am talking about here is player matchups. Is there anybody that thinks the Washington Commanders have an advantage at any position heading into Sunday? Here. Let's take a look at this. Let's start with the obvious. Daniels has had a better year than Hurts, more consistent, has had a bigger impact on his team. And I've been saying that all year. There's a ton of guys who have outplayed him. Now, again, I know what some of you think. Well, they had Jalen in the garage for 14 weeks. But all I can go on is what has happened this year. And this season, Jayden Daniels has outplayed him. Had a better year. And this is individually now. I'm not talking about a unit. Okay, I'm not talking about a unit. I'm talking about a player for player heading into Sunday's game. What player do I think has had, okay, I mean, what player, when you're looking at these matchups this weekend, who has the advantage? Let's take a look at Daniels. Pretty good rookie stuff here, man. 6 INTs, 3,000 passing yards, 101 rating, 217 more yards per game. I think Jalen's got a touchdown over him in the passing game, and he's thrown more, and he's at 71% completion percentage. I mean, and he's taken a franchise that has been in the toilet for 20 plus years. And he's absolutely changed the entire culture of Washington. Okay. By the way, I think both players are compatible. And some would go, well, Sills, you know what? I'm going to go with Hurts because of he's a veteran over a rookie, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yeah. But again, so I got to say it this way. And I hate doing this. You know I do. Sills, who's had a better year, Daniels by a small margin. But if you were looking at a veteran quarterback heading into a game like this, and you know the Eagles need this game too because battling it out for home field, would you take the veteran guy? Yes, I always would land on the veteran guy, especially a veteran guy that's won. Okay, so I mean, it's a two-part conversation. He's been pretty consistent for a rookie. There's a chance they're going to win 10 ball games. And I can't remember the last time Washington won. Hey, James, when's the last time Washington's won 10 games? I don't remember. Maybe the Mike Shanahan years with RG3. So again, I'm trying to be objective here. So if you were going to take a football game and everything was even, and Jayden Daniels is in the game on Sunday, and Jalen Hurts is in the game on Sunday, who are you taking? I'm probably taking Hurts because he's a veteran. But if you're telling me that he's a better player, that's not what I've seen this year. So I would land on the veteran. Okay? I mean, I would land on the veteran. Running back, Brian Robinson's a good back, but he's not Barkley. Terry McLaurin is one of the top 10 wide receivers. 1991 is the last time the Washington Commanders won 10 ball games. And Jayden Daniels has them on the cusp of winning 10 ball games. Pretty impressive. And he's a rookie. And by the way, like I said, if you're going on 1 year this year, and see, here's the facts. He's outplayed him consistently all year because they've had to lean on him. Hurts has been okay and then really played well. And quite frankly, if you think about it, like many people said, he played great this past weekend. But again, I mean, I see a lot of guys in the NFL putting those numbers up. Don't you? There were about 5 guys who did that last week. I mean, we're all looking at it going, wow, we haven't seen it, because you haven't seen it all. I mean, Baker Mayfield was the NFC Player of the Week, not Hurts. Here. AJ by far. Philly gets the edge there. Devontae over Brown. There's number 2 wideout. Absolutely. How about Olamide gets the nod at number 3 wide receiver? He's got 30 catches. Dotson's got 12. So the Washington Commanders get the nod at the 3rd wideout spot. You get Dick out of it. He's got 12 catches. Who would have thought? Your guy that you got rid of is now an upgrade over the guy you traded for a 3rd rounder. Who got the better end of that? So Olamide is an upgrade over Dotson. Is that right? This guy's got 30 catches. And the Eagles gave the Commanders a 3rd rounder. I mean, totally getting the advantage. Tight end. Hey, by the way, someone help me out here. Is Zach Ertz playing or is he on IR this week? Hey, James, is Zach Ertz playing this week? Is he playing IR? Calcaterra versus this guy, Brown, John Brown. I don't know. I mean, I'll go Calcaterra because I think Calcaterra's made some big catches this year. If Zach Ertz was playing, I'd probably give Washington the Commanders the edge here, but I don't know. I'll probably go Philly here with this. Here's all Philly. Mulata over Brandon Coleman. Dickerson over Nick, the left guard. Juergens over the center for Washington. Beckton over the right guard for Philly or for Washington. And then Lane over Wiley. Totally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The only real advantage Washington has in this game is the quarterback. Maybe. And not really. The third wideout. So clearly, per man, Philadelphia is dominant on that side of the ball. Defense. Milton Williams versus Farrell. Milton Williams. Jordan Davis. Here, Jordan Davis versus Daron Payne. I don't think so. That's not close. Washington. Jalen Carter over Newton, of course. Nolan Smith. Over Armstrong. Yes. Zach Bond over Frankie Louvu. Yes. Nakobe Dean over Bobby Wagner. No fucking way. No chance. Josh Sweat over Dante Fowler. No, they're having the same year. He's got 8.5, and Sweat's got 8.5. Dante Fowler's had a great year for Washington. I mean, if you look at Dante Fowler's numbers right now, they're compatible exactly with what Josh Sweat has done. I mean, he's got 8.5 sacks, and he's got 40 tackles right now. 31 tackles, excuse me. He's got 8.5, and he's on pace for 10.5 sacks. Dante Fowler's had a really good season. Corners. I really don't think that's close. I think the cornerback, personally, I think Benjamin's a good player. Washington has, but Quinyon Mitchell's outplayed him this year. He's been great. The safeties. I like this Jeremy Chin. Now, hey, James Jones, is Jeremy Chin playing this week? Because Doug Williams told me he's questionable. If he's playing this week. Martin over Gardner Johnson. Wait, excuse me. Over Reed, Chin over Reed. I think Reed Blankenship's had a really good year. And by the way, Quinyon Mitchell was outstanding versus Terry McLaurin in their first matchup. Okay. Ertz Chin out. Okay. Gardner Johnson. If I'm not mistaken, I think the guy's name is Quan Martin. Is that his name? I'll take Gardner Johnson. Okay? Slay and Marshawn Lattimore. Now, I am a Marshawn Lattimore guy. And I think Marshawn Lattimore is a fabulous football player. Slay's been banged up all year. I don't think Slay's played poorly. I don't. I want to see something here with Marshawn. He's been a great player for a long time down in New Orleans. I just want to see if he's compatible in his career with Slay. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's had a great career. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler and NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's Marshawn Lattimore. It's probably a push. Now, again, you might put Slay over that because Lattimore's just been activated. How much conditioning could he possibly have? You know? So Slay's been banged up. But do you go with the guy who's played more? And do you go with the guy who's – I'd probably go Slay. And I'll tell you why. Because Lattimore, if I'm not mistaken, help me out, James, probably because he just got activated. I really don't know what kind of shape he's in and conditioning he's in. So, look, Washington's got – now you put it all together and you say this. By the way, who has the better offensive coordinator? Washington. Who's got the better D coordinator? Well, I know many of you think Vic Fangio is a better coordinator than Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn owns a Super Bowl ring as defensive coordinator of Seattle Seahawks and built the Legion of Doom. And as a head football coach, he took a team to the Super Bowl. And I know they lost the lead. I got it. Dan Quinn's a damn good coordinator, considered one of the top coordinators in the NFL. He's had one of the top defenses in pro football. Okay? Remember, I mean, we're talking about a guy in a first year that is rebuilding Washington. Oh, by the way, for the record, how's the Cowboy defense look this year without him? And by the way, I said it to you Monday. I'm not picking. I'm saying it right now. I buried the lead. I'm not picking Washington to beat you Sunday. 15-2. Remember, we had a mandate. 15-2. Win the Super Bowl. Win the NFC. Or, you know, in my eyes, that's a disappointing season. Washington has done a nice job this year. First time since 1991 they potentially can win 10 ball games. And it's because of their quarterback. All right. Jason Cole will join us at 4:30. Phil Simms will join us at 5:30. Without further ado,